This is Ryan Watches a Movie, where we get our friend Ryan to watch a movie and tell us what he thought.
Going balls out in the lumberyard. Watching the Grunion Pro Magi. If you're listening to this, don't even waste your time.
Hello and welcome to Ryan Watches a Movie. This is episode number 126. My name is Adam Patterson. With me today we have Kevin Rakestraw. How you doing, Kevin?
Doing pretty good.
We're also joined by Ryan Holes. How you doing?
Stupid.
You're doing stupid? Oh, okay. I'm not gonna investigate that. I'm just gonna.
Like, it makes sense to me, Brian. It makes sense to no one else.
Okay.
But it makes sense to me.
Well, what movie do we have you watch this week?
Tromeo and Juliet.
Tromeo and Juliet. Picked this in honor of Guardians of the Galaxy coming out this week. Turns out that James Gunn, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, wrote and possibly also directed Tromeo and Juliet. There's some conflicting information I have here.
Ooh.
On Rotten Tomatoes, it says that he directed it along with Lloyd Kaufman, but on IMDb, it just says Lloyd Kaufman as the director. So I'm not actually sure if he directed this or not, but he had a lot to do with it. The synopsis says, a modern punk adaptation of Shakespeare's classic. Told irreverently, this film attempts to impact the viewer in the same way theatergoers were affected in Shakespeare's time. Bawdy, violent, humorous, and romantic.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I'm not sure that that's exactly what happens in this movie. Ryan, why don't you tell us a little bit about this? Now, you and I both saw this previously, Ryan, right?
I saw this a long time
Yeah, same here.
And I honestly don't remember that much. And last night when I was watching it,
What's this going on over there?
He's vibrating like crazy.
alright. I saw this a long time ago, and I don't remember much of it, and last night I realized why.
Okay.
First of all, the names in this, there's just too many ridiculous names.
I like London Arbuckle.
Yeah. And the characters a lot of them don't really stand out in any way, so it's hard for me to remember their names, but I'll try.
Well, you could, you know Romeo and you know Juliet.
Oh yeah, but like all the cousins and all that shit.
Okay.
Basically,
I like Tyrone Capulet.
the story starts and Tromeo is in love with some other lady that apparently is a big whore and gets molested by her brother.
Okay, well, I don't know if that makes her a whore. If she gets molested by her brother, I don't know if that...
No, I gets molested by her brother and apparently is a big whore.
No.
So it's both.
Because she's in one scene getting oral sex while she's talking to Tromeo. So that makes her a big whore.
Because... Sure, alright. I guess.
Juliet is also engaged to a billionaire, and she is being forced to marry him. And they go to a party and meet, and they're trying to figure out how to get together. And they have no idea who each other are, and their families feud. Always to the point where they get caught by the police and don't say a word to the police about who did what, but right after the police let them go, they instantly threaten each other with weapons, and one of the Capulets gets his head stuck in a car window and gets drug along and thrown into a fire hydrant.
I remember that.
That for me.
And then
They get to a masquerade and they finally meet up with each other and figure out who each other are.
Hmm.
And Juliet's dad has a big problem with her getting married to someone else because he is set to inherit billions of dollars. Right there. What would be the word? He is standing to make, I don't know, any way you look at it, billions of dollars. Oh, man.
I'm having trouble following all this.
Yes,
Or Adam, are you having trouble?
yeah, yes I am.
Are you right along with it?
No, I'm having difficulty.
Okay.
What questions do you have so far?
I have so many.
Well, just
So
continue your synopsis and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty.
So they decide to get married so that Juliet doesn't have to marry this other asshole in the fetus. And they go get married and they go to Juliet or Tromeo goes to Juliet's house. And Juliet gets all angry and forces her into a cage, a clear cage, where he tries to rape her. And yes, this is her dad.
Okay.
Tries to rape her and beat her. And he has a computer monitor on his head because Juliet hit him with it. And she electrocutes him to death by plugging it in. And then they fast forward a few years and show the kids of Tromeo and Juliet. And all the kids were fucked up. And that's the end of the movie. And there's a lot of dumbass quotes.
Dumbass quotes?
Yes.
Oh, do they actually use like Shakespearean verse in this movie?
I don't think it's actual from the play,
But like
but they try to sound like it a whole lot.
throughout the
And
entire
that's
movie,
one
or
of the
just
that's one of the big problems.
is it throughout the entire movie, or just
Yeah.
occasionally? Oh, it's throughout.
Throughout
Oh
the
God!
entire movie.
If it's not bad enough already,
It's like a
but now you have Troma doing it.
they
Ugh.
riff on it. Like I remember the one scene where she's like Juliet's like partying is such sweet sorrow, and then Tromeo's like, yeah, it totally sucks.
Yeah.
So it's like stuff
And
like that.
sometimes it's just hard to understand. Like, I don't know why they don't just speak English.
Well,
So
They are.
they are speaking
crazy.
English.
It's the Queen's English.
It's crazy talking.
It's crazy talk. It's all Ryan here. It's a bunch of crazy talk.
Bunch of crazy talk. So, what'd you think?
I hated it.
No,
It
I
had,
thought. But you're a big Shakespeare fan, right?
No.
No, not at all. I could have sworn you were.
No.
this
Are you a big Troma fan?
I used to be, but this movie kinda made me not anymore.
Wait, when you first saw it, or when just
Yeah,
seeing it
I
now?
used to like trauma when I was younger, but not too much anymore.
Gotcha.
well, I don't know if you could say that you ever liked Trauma. It's more like you like it because it's so bad. Like
I put up with it
you,
because I mean, it like some parts make you laugh out loud, but then it's gone 2 seconds later.
They don't have those long-lasting laughs that you're looking for.
No.
I'll tell you, I started watching Return to Nukem High, which was the latest Trauma movie, and I didn't even get through it. So
I've never understood Troma. I don't get its appeal. I don't get it.
They're just
I'm
dirty.
lost.
Like
I'm lost.
I will say that Class of Nukem High, I still genuinely like. That one that will always have a special place in my heart.
A fan of Toxic
And
Avenger.
Toxic Avenger too. Sure.
I didn't mind Toxic Avenger that much.
But there's like all this movie is like an excuse for nudity, sex everywhere, violence, and swearing.
So standard Troma stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Had a good
There's,
if I remember
it's ridiculously violent at some point.
and of course it's trauma, so there's all kinds of gross out stuff too.
Yeah.
Like lots of fluids and nasty makeup effects and stuff.
There's a woman who gets her nipple pierced.
Oh yeah, I remember that. They
I don't
show
know,
like a super close up
but
of a woman getting her nipple pierced
I had to put my.
Why?
I couldn't watch it.
Why?
just
Why
because
does that
it's trauma and that's what they do.
Fucking Troma.
I do remember that this had a really good soundtrack, if I remember correctly.
I imagine that you're remembering incorrectly.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure you're imagining incorrectly. Because a Troma movie doesn't have anything that's good ever.
I remember in the newer trauma movies, the ones that came out in the late '90s, they always had pretty decent soundtracks.
Perhaps.
I remember Terror Firmer had a pretty good soundtrack. Let's see here. This has music from Motorhead, Ass Ponies, Unsane, Sublime, Superchunk, The Meatmen, and the Wesley Willis Fiasco.
Yes.
Solid soundtrack.
The Wesley Willis.
The Wesley Willis Fiasco.
I do enjoy that the name of their song is Drink That Whiskey.
And Lemmy from Motorhead is the narrator of this movie also.
Check
He's
that out.
in like every trauma movie these days.
There's lots of girls with penises.
Was this the one that had that penis
Wait.
that penis monster in it?
Yes.
Are we, I like
The
how you.
one- yeah.
I love these little snippets of information that you just keep in your back pocket and
It's
just
hard
pop
to,
them out of nowhere. Just like, oh
Okay,
yeah, by the way,
it-
there's a bunch of chicks with dicks.
it's hard for me to tell you exactly when that happened or why it happened, but I remember it happening.
So you just save it.
Yes.
You just save it and then drop a bomb.
I remember that it was in a dream.
It was in a dream.
That's right. The when the penis monster comes out.
There's a penis monster now. Like this
Yeah.
shit is escalating.
And
Yes.
it has a face. And
What?
It's like 3 feet long.
Okay.
It's a big penis. It comes out of some dude's pants, but it's a monster.
So she turns into a penis monster.
No, she doesn't turn into it. She like has a giant penis monster.
Well, in that instance, she said Juliet's having a dream, and she's jerked some dude off, and he has a penis monster in his bed.
What?
Okay.
And there's another scene where
Because I'm
Juliet
reading that she
takes-
turns into a penis monster.
Juliet has this takes this potion,
She turns in,
and she has a 3 foot penis all of a sudden.
doesn't she turn into like a cow type creature?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a cow
It's a huge
with a,
wiener.
with a 3-foot penis. This is what we're I just want to make sure we're talking about everything correctly.
I think
So
you
it's
just
a
need to
cow
see
monster.
Tromeo and Juliet, Kevin. I think you're missing out on this.
No, that's never gonna
Was
happen.
was Ron Jeremy in this one?
Did he was
I
the
didn't
penis
see
monster,
it.
I think.
Because I know that I know that he started acting in trauma movies later on too. I didn't know if he was in this one though.
It says that they filmed a scene with him, but it was deleted.
Oh, okay.
Juliet gets raped by her dad a lot and molested by her dad.
I thought it was her brother. Or is there just it? Or am I
They-
thinking of someone else?
They're all about incest.
This
Or
sounds
they're the Capulet house.
Good Lord.
all about incest.
Sounds terrible.
So you're saying that
Eh.
it follows the Shakespeare classic pretty closely.
Yes.
It's
And
almost.
Juliet also has another house servant for whatever reason that is some lady that just sexually pleases her throughout the movie. Like, that's all she
That's her
does.
job. Nice.
Huh.
So let me ask you this. Would you rather watch this or the Baz Luhrmann version of Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Oh, jeez. Is there an option to just shoot yourself in the face?
No, you have to pick one.
Damn.
Which
I
one?
don't know. I'd say this one.
It honestly
But
seems like this one would be more fun to watch. Like it'd provide more laughs.
I
the other
honestly
one's
find Lerman to be hilarious.
the other one's long as shit, right?
That is true.
I don't remember how long it was.
I haven't seen him for a long time.
I think the last time I saw it was in school. We actually watched it in
Yeah,
school.
Why? Why did we do that? I've always wondered that.
Because we had
Why?
terrible teachers that were lazy and would rather put on a video than actually teach us information.
Public school.
Yeah.
Look what you created.
Let's talk about James Gunn. So we know that he wrote this movie. He may have directed it, but he got his start with Troma with doing... They used to do these like Troma TV, and they'd make these like little videos, and I guess he did a lot of those. And he also did... He wrote a bunch of this stuff. He wrote Scooby-Doo, the live-action Scooby-Doo movie,
Fantastic.
and the second one.
Okay.
Jeez, thank goodness, Grant.
He wrote the Dawn of the Dead remake,
Okay.
which was...
Excellent life choices.
Well, the Dawn of the Dead remake was pretty... Actually, the script was pretty decent. That was Zack Snyder's first movie.
I get all them, the whatever of the dead. I get all them confused.
The Dawn of the Dead remake was the better of all of the remakes, but yeah,
Which is the one with the guy from Spawn?
the guy from Spun,
Yeah, John Leguizamo.
that was Land of the Dead. But I find it interesting that you used the movie Spun to find John Leguizamo.
That was
It's like the most obscure.
Yeah. That was the first thing I could think of.
Spun. God.
Your references are out of control.
So James Gunn also directed Slither, which was kind of, I would say that was probably his breakout, because Slither was very well received by critics, and I think it made a decent amount of money too. I remember seeing that in the theater and just loving it, and I actually rewatched it recently, and it holds up. And then most recently, before Guardians of the Galaxy, we did a segment on in that movie 43 Garbage.
Ooh, awesome.
But he also did Super, which was, I don't think it made a lot of money. It didn't get a lot of play, but I think that was pretty well received by critics as well. I didn't really like it, but I think that it just came out at a bad time because it came out after Kick-Ass, and it's very much like Kick-Ass.
Yeah, it's unfortunate timing.
Because it really wasn't, it's not a bad movie, but I think Kick-Ass just kind of overshadowed it, because Kick-Ass was...
it kind of felt like a poor man's version.
Right, yes. Did you see Super?
I did not. And mostly for that reason, because I was like, well, I already saw Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
There's really no point to see this.
Yeah. So I wasn't a big fan of that, but it was extremely violent. It was pretty funny and very, very much like Kick-Ass. So what are your thoughts on James Gunn, Ryan? What do you think of him?
Well, when you listed his previous work, kind of makes me angry. It makes me not like him at all. I mean, the movie Slither, that was okay, but everything else was not so okay.
It was interesting
Not so okay.
when when they first announced him as the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, people were pretty excited for it. They were like, "Oh yeah, James Gunn's doing it. He's got a kind of unique vision." But it's like, what makes you think that? What has he done other than Slither and Super? And
He's done nothing.
yeah, like he hasn't really done that much. And it's funny because I was the same way. When they announced it, I was like, "Oh, that's an interesting choice. Yeah, that's going to be cool." But then looking back, I'm like, "Wait a minute. Really?"
They got you.
Yeah. It's like, really, Slither is...
They suck you in because they announced that shit. What, like 2 years before the movie even comes out?
Yeah, I think they announced it
just for that reason, so people go like, "Oh man, do we think that that's the right choice?" It's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who the director of Guardians of the Galaxy is. It would be the same movie.
Well, I actually kind of disagree with you there, Kevin. But we'll get into that in just a second. Let's go ahead and give your drum roll, Ryan. What do you give Tromeo and Juliet? That's 2 out of 10 on Tromeo and Juliet. Now let's talk about Guardians of the Galaxy. To come back to your point, Kevin, I think that judging from the trailers of that movie, it does look like it's got some of the style that James Gunn brought to at least Slither and Super. So I think that they did give him some creative control over it.
Okay. Fair enough.
Either way, I'm very excited to see that movie, and not necessarily based on the director, but just because I think it looks really interesting and different and fun.
It's my top 10, so I'm better be awesome.
Is this the one with the raccoon?
Yes.
All right.
The raccoon in the tree.
Raccoon in a tree.
I think it's...
Isn't the tree played by Vin Diesel?
Yeah.
Damn right it is.
So this is on my list too. It's like number 8 because it's nearing the end of the summer. So by the cutoff, I don't think it'll make a ton of money, but it's also the type of movie that I think a lot of people just won't be interested in because the characters are not well known.
I think a lot of kids will be interested in it.
Maybe. I mean, I hope it does well because I've heard good things. There have been several press screenings of it so far, and I heard that it's quite good. So I'll be anxious to check it out. Are you gonna go see it, Ryan?
No.
He's got things to do.
I'm not saying I'm interested in it. I'm just saying I picked it, so I hope it does well.
Now, Kevin, are you going to be seeing this next week?
No. No. No.
I'll probably rent this once it comes out, but I won't make a trip to the theater.
I don't understand why you guys wouldn't be interested in seeing it. It looks really funny.
Because I don't see anything in the movie there.
True. It's just not my type of thing. Like, I'll see it when it finally comes to DVD or something. Because I want to experience it on my 28-inch TV.
With subtitles turned on.
Yeah.
And volume it too.
That's how you're supposed to watch these movies, okay? I'm not doing this going to the movie theater. And quite honest, in all seriousness, I'm getting sick and tired of the movie theater. I used to love it so much, but every time I go, it's just a shitty experience.
It's funny.
I'm getting sick and tired of the movie theater.
It's funny
honestly.
because part of the reason that one goes to the movie theater is for the theater experience. You know, sitting in the theater seats and seeing the giant screen and the great sound and the popcorn and the soda and the candy and all that stuff. But these days, so often, that experience is a terrible one. Be it from annoying people in the audience to...
It's mostly people.
To
It's mostly people.
I've noticed that it's funny, too, because I've noticed... Since we've gone to digital, you would think that there would be
easier?
There would be less problems in theaters, but that's not the case. There are so many problems.
I've seen it with South by.
Oh my god, dude! When we were at South by, I had 4 of the movies I went to had problems, and one of the movies that I tried to go to and waited in line for got canceled because of problems. I mean, it was like every movie that Ryan and I would go to, they'd be like, well, there's going to be a delay. Oh, no, two movies got canceled. I forgot about The Raid. It was crazy.
I'm just losing interest in the movie theater experience, which is a shame because I love going to the movie theater. I used to, at least, and especially like during the day. There's nothing better than going to the movies like during the
I
day.
agree. Yeah.
Just
A
getting
matinee.
sucked away.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. But all the
That's
time
why
now,
I
it's
have
shit
surround
experience.
sound. That's why I have surround sound of waters by my house.
Yeah, but just
Just go at Canada and watch movies at my house.
That's
and
what I was going to say.
didn't you turn your wheelchair into a D box too?
Sort of.
Sort
I have to get the full experience.
Well, that was what I was going to say. I mean, these days you can, for a reasonable price, you can make a nice home theater for yourself.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
But it's still not the same to me.
It's not the same because you don't have. There's just something about the movie theater when you walk in. It's sort of you get sucked out of
Yeah,
real life.
you're entering another dimension. You know, there's no
It's like a little-
distractions.
Yeah, it's like a little time warp. It's bizarre. At least there should be no distractions.
Well, yeah, I was
but
going to say for the most part, in an
Supposed to
ideal
be.
situation, there's no distractions.
if people were considerate and not pieces of shit.
Well,
That's
did
how
you
it was
see
planned.
that AMC is going to start converting their regular seats to recliner seats?
What the? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
That's.
That'll work out wonderfully for me.
you.
Because I'll sit in them anyway. And the handicap seating in theaters suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I love how they just. It's like where do people in wheelchairs go? Oh, in the front,
The very front row.
the very front row. They had to crick their neck up. Watch the entire movie.
And we definitely had some issues in Austin this year with
Well,
seating.
and those old theaters too.
The Paramount was the worst.
And I love the reactions that you get a lot of times where it's like it's Ryan's fault for being in a
Yeah.
wheelchair.
They
Fuck,
click
you
for
and your
every
fucking
screen.
wheelchair guy.
And they're always like, "Oh, you can just sit here in the back." And it's like, he's not going to be able to see anything back here. It's a complete half the screen is obstructed.
Well, because they just think of you as like a folded chair. Like, well, just put him over there.
Yeah.
Think of you as a folded chair. Oh my. All right. Let's get back.
That's podcasted superstar stuff right there. That's how you win awards.
Let's get back on track here. Any final thoughts on Tromeo and Juliet or Guardians of the Galaxy, Ryan? Do you think it's odd that someone who comes from trauma is now making giant multi-million-dollar blockbusters for Disney?
I kind of do.
Everything's
Especially
topsy-turvy.
Disney. Are they trying to reinvent Disney?
I don't know if they're
Yes,
trying to.
they're trying to reinvent it into trauma.
I don't know if they're trying to reinvent Disney.
It's gonna be interesting.
I think that what Disney's doing is they're getting directors that they find to be interesting, up and coming directors on board for their movies. Directors that don't demand a lot of money, and that's why they're getting people like James Gunn and Ryan Johnson and people like that to do these movies. I think it's a really interesting choice. I like it.
They get Ryan Hall.
Shane Black doing Iron Man 3 was another one.
I would like to see Ryan Holes
I would.
direct
Oh my
the
god.
Avengers 5.
I would
That'd
love
be-
it. I would love it so much if they just hired him to direct a movie and just threw him in there and didn't tell him anything. It was just up to him. I would love to see what happens.
It'd be a fantastic movie, I'm sure. I believe in you, Ryan. You can pull it off.
Kevin, did you know that James Gunn was also one of the characters in Melvin Goes to Dinner?
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Who was he in Melvin Goes to Dinner?
I don't know.
Are you sure? Did you even look that up to see if that was true?
No. I remember him being in it, but I don't remember. He was Scott. He was Scott in Melvin Goes to Dinner.
I don't remember that. I'm gonna have to revisit that one. It's been a while.
Yeah, same here.
It's been a while for that classic.
Same here. All right, Ryan. I think that will wrap it up. Send us your questions to podcast@filmpulse.net. We'll be sure to answer them on the show. Follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet, @FilmPulseKevin, and @MyLegsDon'tWork. And be sure to rate us on iTunes. We appreciate that very much. FilmPulse.net. My name's Adam.
And I'm Kevin.
And I'm
And we'll see you on Monday.
shit. Wait. Yeah.
What was that?